I don't like jumbled charts, as you guys can tell. All right, so price breaks out above this pivot, rallies up, consolidates for a bit to the 8, rallies again, consolidates shortly, rallies again. And so these areas where we consolidate, they're not pivot points in the sense of these, right? If every time price did anything was a pivot point, it just wouldn't, you wouldn't have any useful information on charts. But when your trend is rising and you break below the 8 and then get back above it, you just proved yourself. You broke trend and proved yourself. That's pivotal. Likewise, when you're above the 8 and you break down twice, right? That's I actually poorly worded that. But if you get what I'm talking about here, right? Support, resistance, consolidation, liquidity, not necessarily support resistance. Maybe if we hopped into lower time frames, there would be support and resistance throughout there. But these are much more pivotal. As you can see, price had to prove itself. Whereas here, it didn't really prove anything. It just went up, stayed there, and went up again, and stayed there and went up again, right? This grinded itself out and proved that the trend was up. Okay. But even though these higher lows aren't pivotal higher lows, there's still liquidity, right? There are people that are selling in this area thinking that this won't go higher. And so when price comes back down to these regions, they're looking to get out, right? Same with this region, right? That's where you're looking to hop in. That makes sense? It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that when price is up here that you just put bids in the book there. Maybe you put some small buys. Again, going back to this $1,000 example, you don't want to be buying too much before price gives you signs that there's continuation. Like, I don't want to be putting in like $500 bid here and a $500 bid there. Like, then what if it just tumbles right through it? I'm completely screwed, right? I've lost my money, or at least a good percentage on it. Whereas I could put maybe $100 bid at each of these spots, knowing that I like these levels. But at the moment, where's my key higher low? Right there, there, there. And then we broke out from this one. So really, this is where my stops would have to go if I was in here, if I was going to be putting bids there. Or I can just say like, I can have a hard percent fixed stop, right? I can say, well, if price gets X% below where I entered, I'll just stop out on that piece. But then that's not really, that's not going to help you that much, I promise, right? You're much better off waiting for price to get to the zones you like, to prove itself, and then you buy. Okay? And price. I'm just going to pretend you guys didn't hear that one, all right? I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to pretend you didn't hear me say price. Right? But then once price proves itself, it's not about buying the lowest point and then selling the highest point. You're not trying to buy exactly at support, sell exactly at resistance. It doesn't work that way always. It doesn't happen. But if we get a buy setup, which that's a buy setup, that's a buy setup, that's a buy setup. This was a buy setup. There's all these buy setups in our model. Then you're reducing your risk, right? I get a setup here, great. Now I can enter there, and I have defined risk for a stop. The stop would be here. Again, I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about here completely, but when I go into candle setups, this is all going to click beautifully. But when I enter here, I can get tight risk, where if I'm wrong, but I just lose a little bit. Whereas here, if I'm wrong, and I lose however much I lose back to my other stop, and that's a lot. Same with over here. I get a buy setup, great. There's my stop. I get a buy setup, great. There's my stop. I get a buy setup, great. There's my stop. If I win, I win. If I'm wrong, I barely lose anything, right? And that's the beauty of the model. You get to wait, you get to set up, and then you enter. Okay? But that's getting a little far into some of the strategy behind this stuff. I just want to stick on resistance here, right? So you come back, you retrace to your liquidity zones. Ideally, you'd like a retrace back to this level, back to this breakout level, but you don't get it. You make a higher low, and then you break out to higher highs once again. Retrace back to this level. This is a good buy opportunity, if you ask me. I mean, come on, that'd be a basic resistance flip to support, just like we've seen right back here, right? So we want to, it's, and again, it's just potential. It's not necessarily going to hold. It can break down for sure. But I'd be happy, right? Going back to that $1,000 example, I would be totally happy buying like 20% of my size right there. Even though your major trend low now is right here, that's where you held and went to a new high. I'm happy buying a piece, even though that little piece might get stopped out 30% loss, as long as it's a small piece, right? What's a 30% loss of 20%? Right? It's only like 7%. So you gotta always think about the size. And then when I get the buy setup, which is right there, that candle is the buy setup. I know you guys might not know it. Then you buy, your stop goes below the low. And that's just, I mean, again, you buy there knowing you have tight risk instead of just buying on the way down, hoping that it's going to bounce. All right. And once we go into this setup stuff, guys, you guys are going to lose your minds. You're going to be like, was it really this easy all along? And then when you start seeing these charts, you're going to see them completely differently. It's going to be wonderful. All right. And then price starts to hunt, find liquidity, makes a higher low, and proceeds to make higher highs yet again. And we haven't checked something yet, guys. It's something we've been forgetting, right? See this purple line? Right? Let's extend this. Oh, it's a ray. I can't extend it. But let's go look back where that was from, right? This resistance level. Can I not move it? There we go. This resistance level was previous support. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? And it really goes so far back, right? If we just look at the original mega pump, right? Price tried to stop there. That was resistance, right? Look at this first retrace, right? You hit this and you drop 40%. 40%. That was massive. And then you blow through it. You break below it, but you only get one close. This is why when I talk about the moving average, I'm saying I want 2 closes because I want that confirmation of follow through on the second candle. Whereas this one, you get 1 close below, but no follow through. Your second one immediately reverses and closes above it. Pivotal zone, and then you break below it. And then you get rejected at it. It's resistance. And you break through it. Let's see if it becomes support. And it does. And it does. And it's support. And it breaks. And it's resistance, right? And what do you know? That was January 2014. And it played out to be resistance 2.5 years later. And that stopped price from the 6th, what was that, June 2016. It didn't break it until 6 months later. So 2 years ago, all these people who bought here and got trapped, a lot of them sold here. A lot of them sold here. A lot of them sold by now, most of them. But the ones that didn't, like a lot of the bigger bags, they don't care about making this money anymore. They care about getting all that money and time back that they lost. So they're happy just to sell and get out for break even after all this time, right? Very pivotal. And then your last 2 lower highs, your last 2, ooh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. A hiccup there. Your last 2 highs, your last 2 resistance zones before you're making new highs. What do you know? You get rejected the first time. You make another higher low, new support zone. Once you move away from it, that is, it's new support zone. Little retrace, another short-term higher low. You rally to a new high, still focused on buying dips. There's a buy setup in our model. Another higher low. Rallied to new highs, and that was just all she wrote, y'all. That was crazy. Okay. So I hope you guys have learned something in this support and resistance section. If you haven't, or you feel like you haven't, gotten enough on it, hit me up in the chat. I will gladly help you out further. All right. I'll catch you guys and gals in the next video.